Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD, Winter D here, back again here on PlayStation Source. And of course, we did have a little bit of a break between the Spider-Man Miles Morales breakdown, which makes you go check out that breakdown as well if you guys haven't checked that out. As well as, of course, having Last of Us Part 2. There's been a little bit of space in between, this video and the PS5 reveal, but I did need to focus on those two things before we could get to this breakdown, of course, that you are reading the title and seeing the thumbnail right now on the video. Horizon Forbidden West breakdown. We do have two videos to break down on this breakdown. I keep saying breakdown a lot, and let me stop saying breakdown. But the first one, we are going to go over Guerrilla Talks, which is a kind of like supplement video that they made to kind of further explain some things, and there are some new details in there as well. And then we will break down the PS5 reveals announcement trailer for Horizon Forbidden West. So starting off here with the Guerrilla Talks video, Forbidden West, the title of the game, refers to the mysterious new frontier that stretches from Utah to the Pacific Ocean in the West. They explicitly didn't say that the extent of the game stops in the US, considering that there are a bunch of other cultural aspects of the footage as well, so I think it's pretty likely we'll see more of the world besides the US, but that's not necessarily confirmed. There are some things that kind of make sense for it to happen outside of the US, but it's not 100% accurate and 100% confirmed. But hey, wherever we go, I do like the aspect that we will be going outside the bounds of the original game and of the original map, because that original game took place in around Colorado and Utah mainly, but then there were hints of Montana in the northern hemisphere as well as northern Arizona as well. So it was nice to see that we're like gonna step outside those bounds and really see the world and just see more of it. The good developers over there at Guerrilla Games promises a more detailed, vibrant, and immersive world thanks to the power of the PS5. And also due to the PS5's heavily talked about SSD, the game will virtually, quote, have no loading screens. Seeing it in action during the Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart with its ability to load multiple dimensions on the fly, I cannot wait to see how Horizon utilizes it, because the original loading in the original game is a ton. It loaded a lot. It was a very long loading screen. However, that long loading screen did give me the ability to appreciate Horizon Zero Dawn's great original soundtrack. So I guess, it's not all bad. It does have a great soundtrack, but man, it was loading a very long time in the original game. They also promised that fast traveling from one end of the map to the other or restarting a checkpoint will be super fast as well, of course, given the SSD and the overall processing power of the PS5, even going on to say that booting the game will instantly throw you into the action. So what do you mean by instantly? I would love to see what they exactly mean by that, because I mean, is there a menu in this game? Like, I assume there is, but I would love to see what they actually mean. Maybe it's like if you go into a suspend state and then go back into the game, it straight up just, just loads it like that, but we will have to see. And as Aloy travels to the west, she'll encounter deserts, ruined cities with iconic landmarks, with a wider and deeper and a bit bigger map to explore. So we will go over some of those ruined cities and iconic landmarks in a little bit later on in this video. However, Aloy won't be tied to the surface, as all that swimming in the trailer isn't just scripted. We'll be able to dive into rivers and lakes to see what's below. So this is a great detail. We have a little bit more to talk about here later on, but just wanted to mention it here. Yes, Aloy can swim. It's great, but the water won't save you, as water-based machines are in the game as well, like this wild-looking metal crocodile or alligator. I don't know what the difference is. If I'm being 100% real, honestly, I don't know. Let me know down below in the comment section. What's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? I don't know. But in the game, they are called snap maws. And so these were actually in the original game, Horizon Zero Dawn. And this is, of course, the snap maw. It's a machine from the original game. It is a medium-sized acquisition class machine and the only machine known to be amphibious as well. So it can be both in water and in land. They were originally created as ductile water purifiers as part of the Zero Dawn initiative. However, as a consequence of the derangement, they have become a lethal danger to humans who pass within their sights at any body of water in which they are found. And so they have been in the original game. You have probably fought them, and you will be able to fight them again here in Horizon Forbidden West. We also see this massive turtle looking machine in a swampy type of environment as well, but this one is called a shell snapper, and they have only been said to guard the shores and swamps, and this is definitely a brand new type of machine. So pretty cool to see some new stuff here in the trailer for the game. But we also get this really cool flying machine called a Sunwing that patrol the skies. Guerrilla, please let us mount a Sunwing. please, I'm dying. Let us mount a Sunwing. Come on, please. However, totally could be false here, but it looks like the Sunwings have this solar panel-esque type of material on their wings, which could be why they're called Sunwings and set them apart from the Stormbird from the original game. Or considering that the Stormbird had shock-based attacks, maybe the Sunwing has fire-based attacks. What do you guys think? I don't know. I mean, I would love the aspect of this Sunwing having some sort of inferno powers and fire, different attacks and abilities. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But most importantly, I do want to mount them. However, with all those machines already laid out, they do promise dozens of new machines to discover in Horizon Forbidden West, and I don't doubt, as there were tons of machines in the first game, a lot. There were a lot of machines in the first game, a lot more than you would even think that there were. So there's a ton of potential there, and it looks like they are ready to make a bunch more, and I cannot wait to explore them and do all that good stuff. And just as the original game, they will have to be scanned and studied to find out the best way to fight them. So you get to see their strengths, their weaknesses, all that great stuff via, of course, the focus that Aloy has. Not only machines, but we'll also find new tribes to learn about and potentially fight in the West as well, with some of them being peaceful and others being hostile. The really interesting part of the trailer is that we saw a group of 3 men overriding a machine, which, quick side note, this machine was called a Bristleback, given to us by the Twitter of Guerrilla Games. They say here, quote, despite their classification as herd-based acquisition machines, Bristlebacks aren't skittish. Instead of fleeing, they become highly aggressive when threatened, using their tusks to great effect. So it looks like they will be a definite formidable opponent here, but they do confirm here that some of the hostile tribes we'll meet have discovered the ability to override machines as well. We'll get a little bit more into this later on in the video, with, of course, Silence being in that same scene. Now, towards the end of the trailer, we do get the big mammoth machines that are called Tremor Tusks, that are loaded with weapons and heavy plated armor. They also suggest that the tribes that capture the Tremor Tusks actually put armor and weapons on it, and that the Tremor Tusks in its natural state are less menacing, but still dangerous. So it looks like they will be able to somehow override these machines and equip them with bigger armor and better weapons and stuff like that. So that is kind of wild to think about. But the West also has this phenomena seen in a ton of scenes during the trailer with this red dust that's a feature of the collapsing biosphere. So we're going to get into a little bit more on that as well here in just a little bit. But it looks like there is some sort of virus, if you will, or some sort of just cataclysmic thing that's destroying all bio life and stuff like that. Guerrilla called it a red blight that chokes the wildlife and starves animals and tribes. Including that, the weather has spiraled out of control and genuinely has been acting wild, which is crazy because there are plenty of shots and examples in this footage that the weather is acting really strange, and the weather generates massive supercell storms that flood canyons and fields. And you know what, honestly, I mean it kind of sounds like 2020, like the way they're talking about this crazy. Let me stop. But although 2020 has been completely crazy, the game is aiming for a 2021 release. They did confirm it. They didn't say at the PS5 reveal. Not sure why, but maybe they're just really emphasizing the aiming part of it. It might not make it to 2021, but at least they're aiming for it. You love to see it, and we will have to see next year if we get Horizon Forbidden West. But let's go on to the actual announcement trailer, because there's a ton of really good stuff in there as well. So going on, of course, to the PS5 announcement trailer, as the camera swoops in front of the ocean to the mainland, we see these tiny islands scattered across, that gets closer to the mainland, but they have these weird red vertical pillars. And so I feel like there's no coincidence here. I think there is some sort of meaning to this, because there's even red in the water as well, and it looks like veins. So maybe what I'm thinking is that this could be alluding to the spreading of the red dust that hurts the biosphere of the West. It looks like it's able to penetrate underwater and live underwater and destroy water life as well. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know if it's true, and maybe it's spreading up towards the cliffside, because then later on we do see that when we get to the mainland, there are some red stuff on the cliffs, as well as there is some red on a crash plane as well. But honestly, some of this stuff on the cliffs and the crash plane, it could just be rust from just age of the overall world, and that might not be the actual red dust that's hurting the biosphere. But I just thought it was pretty just worthy of just pointing out that there is some sort of red dust dust that we see inside of the water and, you know, up on those islands as well. Just like in the original game, we do see a lot of like organic life with, of course, the machines, and there is a ton of organic life that we see here in the trailer with seagulls and fishes and crabs. However, this fish has the red dust growing out of it as well as these like mussy like pus balls that the crab squishes too. It's honestly kind of nasty. Like, can I say that? Like, gorilla, like that is disgusting. But beside the point, maybe that's how the red dust that kills like all bio life and all the environments, like maybe that's how they affect living things and like living organisms is really weird. And honestly, that claim that the red dust causes these like, you know, pus balls on living organisms is going to be discounted later on in the video. But I did want to bring up that maybe this is a possible, you know, effect of it having on living things. But the red dust has scattered from the ocean to the beachfront as Aloy gallops through them on a mount, and so it's really cool to see these shots of her just galloping through the beachfront. It's great. But when Aloy comes across a fox that died in the red dust, it doesn't have those pus balls on its skin, so maybe it doesn't cause that, or maybe it causes it eventually over time, because that fish did look a little bit dead for a while. So maybe this fox just unfortunately passed away due to red dust, and eventually it will get those type of pus balls on its skin. We will have to see. But then we see the very, very massive shell snapper rise from the swamp that also has red dust plants on its back as well. So maybe you know, it's also being affected, as well as its red eyes. Definitely keep that in mind. It does have red eyes in this one as well. We see that the red dust destroys organic food and the severe weather gorilla was talking about as well in the background of this scene as well. So it's definitely wilding. There's a lot of weather going on. The red is just, you know, just ruining everything. It seems like a very bad situation here in the game. However, also in the background, we do see a tree growing out of a satellite dish, which is going to look mad cool in the full game. I love that whole aesthetic. There were plenty of really cool shots in the original game. Can't wait to see how the photo mode does in this game as well. But we next go to Aloy on her mount, looking at a huge metal devil with a storm swirling above it with red lighting. This is surely the metal devil with Silence at the end of the original Horizon Zero Dawn, where Silence recaptures Hades in a lantern type of encapture and tells it that they have more to discuss, which I also think is clearly the overall point of the sequel. Like, I really think this whole Horizon Forbidden West sequel and why this is all happening is because of Silence doing with him recapturing Hades after Aloy presumably destroyed Hades, but didn't, I guess, completely destroy it, as Silence was able to recapture Hades into his lantern. And I believe that Silence is going to go off and do some more mischievous stuff in the second game, making it the full point of Horizon Forbidden West. That's what I think personally, guys. Let me know thoughts in the comments below. I think this is just a just pure telling that this is definitely what is going down here in the west side of the country. As I stated before, we get to see Aloy swim in Horizon Forbidden West, but she breathes with this really cool face mask looking thing that has two tentacles trailing behind it. It looks super dope. I can't wait to see how it works. Maybe like these two tentacles like maybe like gather oxygen as you move through the water. Not sure how exactly it works, but that just, I guess, off the top of my head. Nonetheless, it looks really cool as a face mask. Also, while we're talking about face masks, wear your face mask, people. Aloy is doing it. She's not even in public. I mean, she is in public. She's in the water, but like, you know, there's no construct of public in this world, and y'all should be wearing face masks too. I'm just putting it out there. However, the very next shot of the underwater scene got me really, really hyped because it's actually depicting the famous port of San Francisco with the clock tower and the arches as well to accompany it. Super nice touch, and it makes sense considering that we are going to the west coast of the US in this game. So really cool to see that we are seeing the port of San Francisco in the Bay Area. Aloy then travels to a sandy environment where she finds some Chinese writing in front of 4 cards that are all aces. At first, I had no idea, but I did reach out to some of my friends. Shout out to my boy David. He's fluent in Chinese. You love to see it, right? I thought it was gonna say something like something super ancient. I don't know, like it was gonna be some sort of like mystery or whatever. Literally, all it says is a casino. So it's a casino sign, just in Chinese writing. And the 4 aces were a dead giveaway, but I just wanted to make sure. So yes, it is confirmed by my friend David. It does say casino. Shout out to you, David. Shout out to you. But then as she like wipes off the dust off of this sign, this cool holographic dragon comes on, just like Hanzo popping an ultimate in Overwatch. Like, it looks just like that. It looks really cool. And I assume this is definitely just some way of conveying that we're going to find some historical stuff, just like the cauldrons in the original game. It looks like we'll be doing some of that as well in this game. So this next shot, she's looking at this massive wall. I originally thought this was some sort of machine, but it actually looks like carvings or barriers or something, considering that there's people on top of the structure as well. This could be another tribe that we'll encounter as we head west into the game. So it's really neat that we are seeing a lot of these different factions and these tribes and seeing how they have assimilated with machines in this world. So this next shot in the sand is so cool because we get a quick glance at the dark spots that look like just rocks to me when I first saw the trailer, but upon further investigation, they're actually cars in lanes. This is a buried highway. It's really cool to see that. We can see it goes on towards the right upper side of the picture as we go on. It is a very interesting shot. I love the way this looked. It looks super cool. Remind me a lot of like the Cosmodrome in Destiny as well, but I just love this overall aesthetic. It looks super cool having this buried highway. It looks great. This next shot is where we get some cactuses and rocks that I can't really explain. I did take a geology course in college. I think those are igneous rocks, but all I know is that these rocks are all over Arizona, you know, and just this whole climate. I do know that I've seen those rocks a ton in real life, but we do get this peculiar looking structure in the center. Listen, I'm gonna keep it 100% honest. I do not know what's at the center of this whole structure. I don't know what that is. I have no idea, but I do know is that there appears to be mirrors in neat rows surrounding the overall structure and the center point of this whole apparatus, right? So maybe a tribe created the structure and it needs solar energy, so they're utilizing mirrors to be able to bounce off of the sun rays, you know, off of the sun onto the mirror and then onto the center of the structure for some reason. This leaves me with so many questions, but it is cool that there are these like neat, you know, rows of mirrors that are just like pointing at the center thing. It looks really cool. Or I mean, now that I think about it, maybe these are just leftover, you know, solar panels in the middle of the desert that used to be utilized for gathering power during the old times is what they will call it in this game, or just the modern day right now. Maybe that's what we're looking at here, you know, and maybe this center tower is some sort of way that the energy flows into and then disperses into wherever it needs to go for other cities that surround this area. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think are these weird mirror looking things in this center structure? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Next up here, we do get this shot of Aloy climbing up this rock. Likely this could be an area analogous to the Frozen Wilds area in the original game on the original map in the DLC as well, or hear me out, this could possibly be the Grand Canyon. I only say this because there is running water below it that looks a lot like the Colorado River, and of course, if you know your stuff, the Colorado River is what carved the Grand Canyon over thousands of years, and that still runs through the Grand Canyon to this day. So maybe Aloy is scaling the Grand Canyon here. That is going to be sick. I really hope that's true, but I don't know, guys. We'll have to see when the full game comes out. And also, this shot of the Golden Gate Bridge is already iconic for this game. It's such an iconic look. It's such an iconic just overall scene that we see in the trailer, and that sticks with a lot of people as they have been talking about this game on Twitter and stuff like that. It looks beautiful. I love the way this looked with like the really blue, like vibrant sky with the, you know, red Golden Gate Bridge and stuff like that. It looks great. And lastly here, the 3 falling red meteors. To me, this is supposed to be like some sort of callback to the way Hades, you know, trailed the sky into Silent's lantern at the end of the Horizon Zero Dawn game, and immediately after we do see Silent himself in the game, so it looks like that's probably what it's alluding to. Also not sure if it's supposed to imply that Silence was the one that taught these people how to override machines, because they seem to be overriding them, you know, in the background, and Silence is overlooking them doing so. So I don't know if like Silence is spreading the Hades protocol and then teaching these other tribes to override his Hades protocol so that they're able to control these machines. I'm not sure what's exactly going on here, or maybe we just got Silence chilling. Like maybe Silence is just chilling and observing these tribes doing it. I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on here. I highly doubt that. I think it's supposed to imply that Silence is maybe teaching these tribes how to override machines just as Aloy can. I'm not sure what's exactly going on here, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you guys think is the overall point of this? What do you guys think is, you know, Silence's main type of motivation in this game? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure also, while you are down there, to check out our description where you can find our Discord, our Twitter, as well as our Anchor link. That way you can listen to long form content and podcasts. So right, that of course being Road to Part 2, as well as Road to Ghost of Tsushima. Like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.